Hello, dear students. I guess you had a good time with your near and dear ones during Diwali. So, without wasting time, let's get started with our lecture. Dear student, we had already completed our first chapter, and now we will soon complete our chapter number 2. Dear student, this is lecture number 17 of our subject, and in this lecture we are going to discuss very important subtopic of the second chapter, that is human life in the coastal region. Before that, let's see what we had discussed in our previous lecture. We already discussed the human life in the desert region in our previous lecture. I mean, the actually where we have a desert region in the world, and their physiography, their soil, the climate. Then we have already discussed of the animal life, the vegetation, and the important human occupation that we observe in the desert region. Lastly, we had already discussed what are the problems that desert region facing today. Dear student, for today's lecture, we have very simple study objective or learning objective, that is to study the human life in the coastal region. You know that, dear student, the coast, the area where the land meets the sea or the ocean is known as the coast, and the area which is located near the coast is known as the coastal region. And this is the coastal region, that we are going to discuss in detail in today. If you see the photographs here, you will find the part of the coastal region is totally occupied by the land or continent, and on the other hand, we have the area which is occupied by the ocean or the sea or the water bodies. Yes, in this picture you can see this is the coastal area. The coastal zones are narrow transition area between the land and the sea. The coastline make up about 8% of the earth land. It means what? Near about 8% part of the world is occupied by the coastal region. It is a natural boundary between the continental area and the sea. The coastal region is the most favorable region for the human settlement in the world. Dear student, let's talk about the region. Means what? There are about 198 countries which have the coastal lines. If you see this map of the world, then you can see the most part of the world is that country that located, they have a coastal lines. The largest coastal area that is covered by the Canada. The country, have a coastal line 2,43,042 kilometers. So this is the Canada. Here you can clearly see that the eastern part, northeastern part, northern part, and some part of the southeastern, this whole part is occupied by the coastal lines of the Canada. Then second important country in the world is Indonesia. Here you can see the location of the Indonesia. Indonesia also have a 54,716 kilometer coastal lines. Whereas this is the pink color. This is the Russia. This is the location of the Russia. You can see also here, Russia also have a coastal line 37,653 kilometers. Then here we have the United Kingdom, that is America. America also have a coastal line near about 19,924 kilometers. If we talk about the China, this is the location of China. China also have a coastal line of 14,500 kilometers. And this is our India. The India also have a coastal line of 7,516.6 kilometer coastal line. Here you can see the coastal line of India is started from the West Bengal toward the eastern. This is the eastern part, and this is the western part of the India. So whole this is the coastal line of India. So in numbers of country near about, I just mentioned that 198 country of the world that have a coastal line, and this area we are going to discuss in detail. If we're talking about the physiography or the terrain of that coastal area, that you can see that the coastal area have a different feature, such as caves. I'm talking of the sea caves and the sea cliffs. So what is the sea cave? The caves which form in the cliff by the wave action of an ocean is known as the sea caves. The very important example we have in India. At the Mumbai, near the gate of India, we have the Elephanta Cave. So this is the ideal example. Such type of feature we observe throughout the world. Then also we have at some part, we have the sea cliffs. Sea cliffs means what? A high, a very steep area of the rock, especially one next to the sea. Then we also have this type of the feature or the topography in the Konkan part, some part of the Goa. We have it means there you can also see the numbers of the area of the worlds have this type of the feature. One important things about the coastal region that the terrain is very gentle, except to that the for the mountains area laying the near coastal. Otherwise, the most part of the coastal area is very gentle. The coastal, the plains are very narrow. They have a low and the gradual slope. You see here in this picture that you can see the slope is very gentle. Yes, even the you know that at the sea level we have the height of that particular area is very close to zero, and even the zero also because we started the measuring from the coastal area. So near about if you see any nowadays height of this the coastal area is near the 0 to 300 meters. Then one important things about the coastal area, that is the coastal zone consists of many interesting features like the river mouth and beaches. You know that river mouth means what? The place where the river enter in the lake or the ocean is called as the river mouth. In India also we have this type of physiography. We have the Ganga mouth, the Krishna mouth, Narmada mouth, Tapi mouth. This type of the feature also we observe along the coastal region. Then very interesting feature or the topography that are related to the coastal line, that is the beaches. Beach is a landform along with the body of the water which consists of the loose material and expands the sand or the pebbles along the shore. So you know that in India also we have the very beautiful beaches. We have beaches in the Goa, in Kerala, in Chennai. These are the beaches where the tourist activities the flourish too much. So due to its beauty and the really the very good feature that definitely tourists would like to enjoy on the beaches. So these are about the beaches. Then if you're talking about the climate of this particular area, so you know that the coastal region have the humid climate. The very important feature of this climate is the climate of this place near the sea is neither very hot like a desert region or not or nor very cold like Antarctica or the tundra region. So it means the medium type of the climatic condition we have in this coastal region. The very important things about the climate of this region is really very favorable for the most of the human activity. If you see the occupation distribution of the world, then definitely you will observe that the human important activities are flourished along the coastal region. The humidity is very high near the sea or the ocean part near up, but if you move from the coastal area toward the land area or the continent part, then humidity is decreased as we move from the coastal area. Another important feature of the coastal region with respect to the climate, that is, this region receives the plenty of rainfall as compared to the other region. Other region means the internal part of the continental region. And one important thing is the annual range temperature we observe here very low. So what is annual temperature range? Annual temperature range means what? The difference between the maximum temperature of that particular area and the minimum temperature of this area. So the difference between the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature that known as the annual temperature range, and this temperature range we have in this region very close. You know that in the desert region we have this temperature range of the temperatures near about 40 to 50 degrees Celsius, but here we have a very low, it very close to or you can say that between the 10 to 12 degrees Celsius. So this about the climatical region. So in short, you can say that The climatical condition of the coastal region is favorable for the human activity and the human settlement. If we're talking about the soil, the soils of this region, at some part we have the fertile soil, or at some part we have the sandy soil. So especially I'm talking about the beaches. The area of the beaches have a very the loose material, and that is most covered by the sands. Soil nearby the coastal area derived in the character or the parent rock available at that particular place. And where we have the what you can say the fertile soil, in that area we observe the agriculture is developed due to its the fertile character. So this is about the soil. In short, you can say the area of the world, the coastal area of the world have at some part we have the fertile soil that is very useful for the agriculture. Then and also we have some sandy soil that we observe, or the loose particle covered soil we also have at the area. Especially I'm talking about the beaches area. So this is about the soils. Then if you're talking about the vegetation, the very important feature that we like to discuss here, that is the vegetation. The large variety of the plants and the vegetation are observed in the coastal region, especially the delta and the river mouth are the mostly covered with the mangroves. So here these are the mangroves vegetation. This is a very dense vegetation. If you see the some part of the West Bengal, we have this type. Even in some part of the Konkan region, especially I'm talking about the Thana and some part of the Konkan region, we have this type of the vegetation, that is mangrove vegetation. This is the important feature about the coastal regions vegetation. And important thing, this region also covered by the various trees. I'm talking about especially the coconut, plum, mango. These are the trees. Even in India also, we have this type of the trees are located along the coastal Konkan, even the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. We have this type of the cover. So this is a very important feature about the vegetation related to the coastal region. And one important thing, some area of the coastal have plant of the species, very important the plant that we have observed in the coastal area. I'm talking about the Kerala and Karnataka. We have this type of the species plants that are very economically important for us. So you might be listen that the during the British period, that this was the area where the cultivation or the agriculture of these species was flourished in a too much and the large scale. So this is the area. So it means what? This is an area where economically we have very useful the plants and trees that are useful for the human lives, or the most of the medicine plant we observe in that area. So this is about the vegetation and the animal life. So animal also we have a very unique animal life we observe in the coastal region. Especially if you see the distribution of the various animals that we observe along the coastal line or on the coastal line, that are seabirds, the clams, crabs, starfish or common fish, and the marine mammals we observe in the coastal area. Especially the two important things and the two important animals are observed on the large scale. If you see the animal distribution of the world, throughout the world about the coastal region, you will find that the many fish, the turtle, this is a very important thing. Turtles and the migratory birds nest in the coastal area because of the large amount of food, especially fish and the turtle. These are the two very common animals that we observe throughout the world, and especially the migratory birds. Due to the availability of the foods on a large scale, the most of the birds come here, or we observe here. So this is about the human animal lives of that particular region. Then if we're talking about the very important topic, that is the human life that is the occupation that we observe in the coastal region. Especially agriculture is a very important occupation, especially the area where we have the fertile soil. In that area, we observe the different pattern of the agriculture. If you're talking of the Asian country, we have in most part of the Asian country, we have a subsistence type of the agriculture that are practiced in the most Asian country. It includes the India, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Malaysia. These are the countries where you will observe the subsistence type of the agriculture. And one important thing about that thing, that fruits, species, rice, and the other food grains that are mostly produced in this region, because the climatical condition and soil fertility, availability of the rainfall, everything is uh, very favorable for the flourishing the agriculture activity. But one thing is very important, that each and every coastal region don't have the agriculture activity. One factor that control the agriculture activity here, that is the soil fertility, because most part of the um, coastal area is also occupied by the salty or the saline soil that is not useful for the agriculture purpose. Therefore, the area where we have the fertile soil, that area we observe the soil, that agriculture activity. Then second human activity is the, that is fishing. Yes, the fishing is a really very important activity. If you see the whole part of the world or the distribution of the human activity, then you will observe that fishing is a very important occupation of the people that are living in the coastal area and the islands. We have the most of the country where we have Japan, where the Australia, where Sri Lanka, where the Malaysia, Indonesia, a lot of country have the location like island, and there the fishing activities flourish too much, because this is the area where the plankton, plankton, these are the plants that are very important food for the fish. And when the fish are and therefore the fish are flourish here on a large scale, and that is very useful point or the favorable point to the flourishing the activity of the fishing. The large number of the people of the world that engage in this activity. I'm talking about especially the China, Indonesia, USA, Peru. These are the very important country where the fishing industry is developed on a large scale. Even in India also, we have the fishing activity that is developed in Kerala, in Maharashtra, in Tamil Nadu, and some part of the Goa. We have a very developed fishing industry. Third important occupation of the human being, that is the mining. So mining is also very important occupation that we observe in the coastal area, because the sand mining and the mineral oil mining, these are the two areas. You know that this location is very favorable for the sand mining and the mineral mining. Therefore, a country like Australia, we have USA, we have the Canada, even some part of the India also, we have this type of the mining. So this is also important occupation. Then numbering is also important, that is wood cutting, that is very important occupation that you observe, but not too much. But where we have a dense forest area, here also at some extent, not too much, but at some extent you will find this type of the occupation. Then another important occupation of the human being that we observe, very important occupation, that is tourism. You know that tourism is a tertiary activity and a very important, fast growing economic activity in the world. What is tourism? Tourism is nothing but a journey for the enjoy or the fun. And you know that even today in India also, and the most part of the world, this occupation is flourished on a large scale in the coastal region. Especially the people would like to enjoy sunbath, adventure tourism, or the activity such as the canning, scuba diving, and so many things, boating, and those are. So the area of the Goa and the Kerala, even the Konkan and some part of the Tamil Nadu, this tourism activities flourish on the large scale, and these local people are getting too much income, and therefore some part of the world it is developed. The coastal area, the part of the coastal area is developed only due to the development of the tourism activity. So this is very important, and it gets a lot of foreign currency, and it generates a lot of jobs to the local people. There's some industry, some areas have some industry. Most of the industries of the world are located along the coastal region. So important reason for that purpose, that is the accessible transportation. You know that the sea waterway is an important means for the trade, and therefore the ability of this accessible transportation, most of the industries are located along the coastal region. And also we have some other occupation that we observe at some extent in the coastal region, that is shipping activity, paper making activity, and the forestry. These are also other important activity that we observe in the coastal region. If we talk about the problem that we observe in the coastal region, the first problem is that is pollution. I just mentioned that the most of the industries are located in the coastal region, and you know that due to the industrial discard, their waste directly in the seawater, and this that threat to the it is a great threat to the seawater ecosystem, or you can say that the aquatic ecosystem, because it get damaged, the highly damaged due to the human activity. And you know that the most of the metropolitan city like Mumbai, we have the Chennai, that are located, coaching are located along the coastal region. And due to the human activity, some the waste of the garbage that regularly throw in the this coastal region, or you can see in the along the coastal or in the sea, that create the lot of pollution in that particular area. It may be the garbage pollution, or the soil pollution, or the water pollution, or the air pollution. All type of the pollution we observe in the coastal area. And one second very important problem we observe, that is the sea level rising. This is the impact of the global warming or the climate change thing. You know that due to the human activity, industrialization, urbanization, pollution, and lot of things, due to the human activity, that ice on the Antarctica region or tundra is melting very fastly, and therefore the sea level is rising. During last 100 years, near about 1 to 2 centimeter sea level is rise. And I'm talking about, especially, it's a very great threat to the people those are living in the coastal area. If you see the example of the Dhaka or the Chennai or the Mumbai or the Cochin, these are the city definitely. If this phenomenon is continue in the future, that definitely this problem of the sea level rising is affect on the human settlement and the human life also. Therefore, so there is a need to control the global warming or the climate change, and yes, the human being is responsible to creating such problem. And this problem is definitely intensity of this problem, sea level rising, is observed on a large scale in the coastal region. Then third, very important problem that you observe in the coastal region, that is damage to ecosystem. Yes, the sea ecosystem, the aquatic ecosystem that you observe in the ocean or in the sea, that are near is affected by the human activity on a large scale, especially in the animal, that plants are what we have on a large scale. Now they're becoming very rare, and some are the really, I mean, the vegetation cover, the plants are destroyed by the human activity. Deforestation is very common, especially I'm talking about the area where the tourism industries flourish. In that area, we observe the problem of deforestation, because people would like to bring more and more area on the land that was covered by the forest. That land is now the human being used for the agriculture purpose, for the settle purpose, for the hoteling purpose, or the resort purpose. So definitely, this all human activities directly or indirectly affect on the ecosystem, and the ecosystem of this region is totally disturbed, and that is not good sign for the ecological balance or to maintain the environmental balance. Another important problem that we have observed in the coastal region, that is natural disaster. Yes, it's a very common. So frequent arrival of the cyclone is becoming very important threat we have in the coastal region. Just you might be aware about that. Even the India also facing the problem of the cyclone. We were talking about the Konkan part, the Konkan coastal area, or the eastern part of the India. Regularly, each and every year, we are facing the problem of cyclone. Even the USA, in the China, the Canada, Indonesia, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, these are countries also regularly facing the problem of cyclone. And another problem that I would like to mention here, that is tsunami. Yes, tsunami is also very important. That natural disaster we have already faced. In 2004, we have faced the problem of the cyclone. I mean, and especially in the eastern part of the Chennai, and that is the Tamil Nadu, they're facing this problem. And throughout the world, we observe this type of the natural disaster, the cyclone, or you can say, I just mentioned that the tsunami. These are the very common problem we observe along the coastal region, or you can say in the coastal region. Dear student, this was about the human life in the coastal region. In next lecture, we are going to start our chapter number 3, very important chapter, that is environmental pollution, and very important problem like a climate change, ozone depletion, depletion of the biodiversity. We are going to discuss in the next lecture. So, thank you. Goodbye.